This also sounds pretty good. Hey, I'll show you a lot of pictures today. I hope that's okay. I've been lately shooting with different kind of films. I don't know what has gotten into me because I'm typically pretty faithful to my selection of HP5 Plus and FP4 from Ilford, and sometimes some Foma or Pancro 400, but that's about it. But lately I bought 1, 2, 3 rolls of all kind of films and been experimenting with them. It's been kind of fun, so I thought I'll show you today the results, the pictures. The jury is still out for me, do I like these and what I'm gonna do with these, but you'll be the judge and you do whatever you wanna do. I'll show you some pictures. Most of these pictures I've developed with Rodinal. That's also good to understand, but because this is a certain kind of developer. I like grain and shooting with medium format and large format. Grain is a friend, not the enemy. I like the easiness of Rodinal and its flexibility. And then I also use X-Tol copies like this Adox XT3, which I used with Ilford HP5 Plus. That's one of the films I'm gonna show you. Now that is not an exotic film, but I show you something interesting I did with that. The first one is Foma 400. Foma from Czech Republic released their orthochromatic film a couple of months ago. It's interesting because it is an ASO 400 film, but it's orthochromatic. Now autochromatism means that it doesn't store red light. And so your pictures easy to look old-fashioned because that's how old films were. They were autochromatic. Current films are panchromatic, so they store all wavelength. But this couldn't handle old films and this won't handle red light. Now, what does that mean? For example, in landscape photography, your sky is typically very white. It has a lot of blue light, and blue light is then overexposed easily. And then if you shoot somebody's face, everything that is red, like lips, and they turn really dark, almost black. So it can have special effects. And yeah, let's take a look at this. I developed it with Rodinal 150 mix. So yeah, Foma Ortho 400. Yeah, and then the next film that I've been shooting with from the company called Film Washi. They advertise themselves being the world's smallest film company. And once again, I really got to admit that I like these small boutique companies who go into weird places and find these films and packetize them for us. Fomapan, they do their films, they got film factories and they do the emulsion and everything. These smaller companies find these films and they package them for us and then sell them, which is equally important in my thinking, because otherwise we couldn't get these interesting films. Also being now packaged in these plastic tubes, the same as Fomapan. This is really handy. I really appreciate you guys putting films into these kind of containers. Now this is an ISO 100, slower than Fomapan, but this is also autochromatic, this F. And it's really grainy. Now grain is my friend. I shoot medium format and large format, and I like beautiful grain. It doesn't bother me, but it might bother you, so pay attention to the grain. This is also interesting in a sense that it doesn't have what is called an anti-halation layer. That layer typically found in most of the films, is there to prevent light leaks within the film. So the light won't bounce forth and back within the emulsion, within the film structure. Here it does, and it sometimes has kind of interesting effects, almost like dream-like effects. There's a picture of my dog, Cookie, and if you pay attention to the outer lines, like his sort of body against the skylight, you can see how the light sort of gets a bit messed up. It's almost like the dog is shining, which it certainly is not. So it has a pretty strong signature look, and you may like it or not. Once again, developed in Rodinal, because the grain is the friend. Pictures like this. Then the next one is also from Film Washi, film named with the capital S. If I'm not totally mistaken, this film is now discontinued, but you can still find this from eBay and other places. This is an ISO 50, and this is panchromatic, so all the spectrums of light get more or less stored. I shot a few rolls of this film a few years back, and I wasn't sure if I liked it. But it certainly has very strong look and feel. It is originally audio recording film. You know, they store like the wave structure in a visual form and then read it from there. Which means that it's important to get accurate, very contrasty drawing on the film. I mean, you don't want to have shades, you just want to have black or white. And this is exactly how this is. Now, this also has a problem that the packing paper shines through. It's sort of, you get the numbers and these little round bubbles on your final images. And I don't know, it may be because this is already a bit old. But it also may be that there's something inherently wrong with the packing paper that this was wrapped. These Film Washi films are hand wrapped into recycled packing paper, like this one. It is F, but it's put into Portra packing paper. And I didn't pay attention which was the packing paper for that, but some of you might remember a few years back, Kodak had some huge problems with their packing paper. And for example, T-Max had this problem that the numbering of the packing paper would sort of shine through to the pictures, even with the new stock. So it may be something like that. I don't know. I of course don't like it, but it sort of adds character. But it's not like this film needs more character because it is brutal. Developed in Rodinal, and the pictures are like this. Okay, then one more Film Washi film, K, like Kansas, ISO 100. This is an aerial film, sort of aerial surveillance film, or you know, used for aerial photography. And for that reason, it has an interesting characteristics. There are holes at one side. Like what you would have on 35mm film, like perforated, or whatever is the word. Perforated? I should probably learn some English. Yeah, it has holes in it. I understood that if you buy this as a sheet film 4x5, then you get the holes at both sides, but this 120 has holes only at the other side. It's kind of interesting. You can of course take your pictures so that you can frame those out, but I left them there for the demonstration purposes. This is Kodak Plus X aerial film originally. Expired already 2000, so this is old film, but they say that it's been stored properly, so yeah, I like this film more maybe than some of the other films. There's a nice look into it. Developed in Rodinal once again, and the pictures look like this. So those pictures were with film Washi K, an aerial surveillance film from Kodak originally, from the US of A. So then in the other end I got aerial surveillance film from Russia, packetized by Santa Film. This is an ISO 1000 film. Totally thin, like really crisp thin film that yields to totally transparent negatives, almost shiny negatives, really strong blacks, reasonably fine grained to be 1000. Now, but this is from Russia, and when Russia brutally attacked Ukraine 2022, Santa Film stopped buying this film. Instead, they sold their entire stock of this film and donated all the money to Ukraine. Just kudos to them for that. I still have a few rolls of this, and it's kind of a pity that Russia screwed it up, and now we can't get this film anymore, because this is kind of a nice film, but I also wouldn't buy anything from that country nowadays. I shot those films because I have them, and pictures are like this. Hey, interesting films. I'm not sure if I like all of them. I think autochromatic film is really something that is not for me, generally speaking. I just don't seem to get the results that I would like, most of the time. But you know, out of these, maybe this K, this aerial film, Kodak, what was it called? Kodak Plus X was my favorite. Really beautiful grain. And then I wish things were different and this Santa 1000 was available, but I totally respect not buying this as long as things remain what they are today. So. But hey, so this was an experiment to me, like every now and then it seems I go and do crazy things like that. But yeah, then going back to my favorite films, one being maybe the favorite HP5 Plus. You can do so many interesting things just with one film. And what I did the other week was, now it's getting Christmassy already here. We got snow on the ground. And I wanted to take some night photos with this. So this is an ISO 400 film, but I pushed it to 6400. That's 869. That's 4 stops pushing it with X-stall. So it means that I measure my light with my camera as if I had ASA 6400 in my camera. And when I go and develop it, I overdevelop it. In a regular case, I would develop my HP5 Plus with an X-stall or X-stall copy. Stock dilution would be 8.5 minutes, 20 degrees centigrade. But when I push it, it was 17.5 minutes in 24 degrees Celsius. So extending the time and lengthening the development. And then what you get is, you get pictures in fairly dark situations, but you lose a lot of contrast. You get really bright whites and really black blacks. You get much more grain, much less nuances. But that's okay, because if you know what you get, then you can compose your pictures accordingly, and I like that a lot. So, you know, as I explained in some of my earlier videos, I don't necessarily need all of these weird films. With just 2 developers and 1 film, I can create different looks and feels. Let's take a look at those aggressively pushed HP5 pictures. They look like this. Hey, at least I enjoy that variety. Like, think about it, like they were all black and white pictures. Film images on black and white. That should be pretty narrow spectrum. But so many different results and so many different looks and feels. And that's what film photography is to me. It's about experimentation and also the tools, the films, developers and cameras leaving their fingerprints, their mark on my photographs. And if I want a shiny dog, I know how to get it. If I want to get really kind of punchy, Christmassy feeling, I know how to get it. And yeah, and now Christmas is coming, New Year is coming, my family is coming over, kids are coming over, so really looking forward for the Christmas time. I'm not really a Christmas person, but it's always nice to have a break. And therefore I will also take a break from making these videos and will continue next year. But I hope you can also find some break in your life and have a relaxing holiday season. So next time will be next year, and then it's gonna be something else. See you then.